Give the Cowboys free agency letter grade so far.
Well, not counting Dak, I give him an F, Skip. I mean, Keanu Neal does not move the needle for me. He's a safety that can't cover, so that's why they got rid of him in Atlanta. And he's coming off major injury, ACL, Achilles injury. They brought him in to be Cam Chancellor, but he doesn't have Cam Chancellor's instincts. So that makes him useless. I think they're going to that rendered him playing in the secondary very, very hard. I think they're going to probably try to move him to weak side linebacker, Skip, because he is physical, but he's a little undersized. And so it's going to be a lot different, Skip. It's shedding a tight end, shedding a wide receiver is one thing. Trying to shed a guard, a 310-pound guard, a 320-pound tackle, that's something entirely different. So we're going to see how well he played in a confined area. We know he likes to play in the box, but normally you're weeding your way through wide receivers. You're pressing wide receivers, getting to the football. Try pressing out a 300-pound offensive lineman and see how you like that. They re-signed Jordan Lewis, but Skip, they lost Awuzie, they lost Dalton, they haven't re-signed Alden Smith. So I'm looking at this, Skip. This doesn't move the needle for me. Obviously, Dak was a big plus, but I excluded Dak in this. So when I look at this, I gave him an F.
Okay. I almost went F. I'm going to go D, and glass half full, I'm going to call it disappointing, but glass half empty, I'm going to call it disastrous. Because
did you include Dak or you?
Yeah, no, this is post-Dak.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, because I hark back to Jerry Jones sitting next to Dak Prescott as they had their kiss and make up press conference announcing his signing, and Jerry kept saying, "We got a big piece of pie left," meaning salary cap pie. Big piece of pie.
Well, he might have ate it before the next morning.
He might have eaten it all. Dak Prescott counts only $22.2 million against next year's cap, and I still can't figure it out because he's going to make $75 million. But I love 22.2 because it should give you just a little bit of breathing room, enough that you could go get two, what I would call significant free agent pieces on defense. And Keanu Neal does not rank as significant to me.
No.
So, first of all, as you just point out, he had missed most of 2 seasons with an ACL, and then he tore his Achilles. And you know what happens when you tear your Achilles? It's just hard to ever quite be right. Yes. And now they are reportedly bringing in a safety that I loved coming out in the draft out of The Ohio State University, Malik Hooker. He was the 15th overall pick. And by the way, Keanu Neal was the 17th overall pick in 2017, but Malik in 2017, 15th overall. He's also coming off an Achilles tear. They're also bringing in that DeMonte Kazee, also from Atlanta, coached by Dan Quinn. And he is also coming off an Achilles tear. Both of those Malik and Kazee tore their Achilles early last season.
Correct.
So what am I supposed to make of this? I got 3 Achilles tear victims,
I guess they're going to rehab together.
They're going to rehab together. What are we doing?
Dallas had a great rehabilitation center.
We're the Achilles squad, right? What are we doing? And then I tried to get excited about Keanu Neal, in part because you mistakenly called him Keanu. Yeah, you went John Wick, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if he were John Wick, I would be jumping through hoops for this because he'd be indestructible. Because Keanu, John Wick, never tore his Achilles tendon because he's impervious to bullets. He's never even been really, he never even gets shot.
Or when he was in the Matrix, they couldn't even hit him with bullets.
That's a good one. That's true. Okay, then it dawned on me late last night as I looked at this, wait a second. The Atlanta Falcons last year allowed the most passing yards in all of pro football. And he started at safety for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
He is a box safety. He's more of a thumper, run stuffer, run stopper. But I looked at Brady's numbers against the Atlanta defense twice. He threw for almost 800 yards. It was almost 400 plus 400. He threw for 6 touchdowns and 1 interception. And it was against a defense featuring Keanu Neal and DeMonte Kazee. What?
Hell, Dak almost threw for 500 in one game.
Okay. Thank you. Bingo. To your point, I agree. So then I start trying to convince myself, well, what if they signed Malik Hooker and Keanu? Maybe that would make it better. And then I'm thinking, yeah, Achilles. I don't know. And then I look back at the other signees so far. We talked about Ty Nsekhe. He's a backup offensive lineman. He was undrafted out of Texas State. I'd never heard of him before. He was on the Buffalo squad last year. He has 17 starts for 6 different NFL teams, but he spent 4 years in the Arena League, starting with the Corpus Christi Sharks and going to the Dallas Vigilantes and then to the CFL. And I'm supposed to get excited about Ty Nsekhe and then Carlos Watkins, defensive end that they signed. Okay, once upon a time, he was fourth-round pick out of Clemson. He finally started last year in his 4th year for the Houston Texans. He started 11 of 16 games for the Texans. The worst run defense in all of pro football last year belonged to that defense that he started for. And I'm supposed to get excited about that, Jerry? That's a big piece of pie.
But I thought, Skip, you've been telling me you wrote books that Jerry loves box office, and he signed the most unknown guys in free agents.
Okay, then he signed Terrell Basham. And I read things, I don't know Terrell Basham, but I read that he had his moments for the Jets last year. The Jets?
Jets, they have no moments.
Huh? For the Jets? They were ranked 26th in points allowed last year. Really? He ranked 249th overall of defensive players last year. 249th. Well, I'm supposed to do handsprings over that? I can't. The one I've heard of is Brent Urban, because he was a 4th-round pick by the Ravens. And for 4 years, he contributed to the Ravens, but he's never been a consistent starter. And then last year, he bounced back and forth. He was Titans, Bears. And yet Pro Football Focus has loved him. They ranked him 50th best defensive player overall last year in limited duty. So, again, I'll take Brent Urban, but he's going to change my life. Is he even going to be a starter?
Skip, I don't know. Think about your boy, Keanu Neal. He has 2 interceptions in his career.
Yep.
Now, if you say, oh, wow, I got this wide receiver, and in 4 years he got 2 touchdowns, you're like, how am I supposed to get excited about that? Skip, they say he's known as a thumper. He hadn't forced a fumble since 2017. We're in 2021. Now, you a thumper, you would think, okay, turnovers. But he hadn't forced one in 4 years.
Yeah, he missed most of 2 of those years.
Yes.
Yep.
So, okay. I mean, how am I supposed to get excited about this, Skip? How are you? I love it. I love it. But how are you supposed to get excited
I can't.
about this?
So I'm going to state my case one more time. Earl Thomas is still sitting out there.
He's not available.
He is totally available because the league has basically said no to him. They have rejected him.
That's the pie that Jerry don't want to eat.
Okay, he doesn't. He wanted to eat it. He wanted to eat the whole pie for a long, long time. He was going out. He was about to crawl all the way to Seattle to pick him up and bring him back, let him ride on Jerry all the way back, right? That's how much he loved this kid. He's not a kid anymore, but hey, he's from Texas, played at the University of Texas, has always wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy, and he's still sitting out there because he burned all his bridges to the league because he's just been a bad actor.
Right.
It's just difficult to justify the baggage.
I will concede this, though, Skip. I believe Earl Thomas, as all the baggage that he has, is still better than anything that Dallas has in their secondary at safety.
By far. And all I know is he missed all of last year.
Yes.
But if we go back 1 year to 2019, that one ill-fated year he did play for the Ravens, he made the Pro Bowl. And they had the 3rd best defense in pro football, in part because he played, he's the classic single high, right? You put him back there in center field and just say, play. Yeah, I mean, he going to give up a couple of touchdowns, but he going to get somebody. He going to catch somebody slipping on him, and they going to misread it, and he going to pick him off. Yep. I will say this. I'm a little surprised that someone hasn't nibbled Earl Thomas either, Skip. Maybe they will.
Considering because he did go to the Pro Bowl. He is a multiple-time Pro Bowl, all-pro player. He is an all-decade player. And you say, what is it, 32 now, 32, 33? Yeah. Skip, with that kind of resume.
See, people are saying Baltimore sent him packing. Yeah. Baltimore.
Yeah.
Listen. Then they're saying, okay, if they don't want him, we don't want him.
Because they don't send anybody packing, Skip. Because they let you be you. I've been in that locker room. I know what that culture is like there.
And you know what, from the top down, how they treat their players.
Skip, if they say, you know what, we got to let you go, Skip. Yeah, ain't very many places you can go after that.
Well, he got in a fight with the other safety, and then he posted some practice video that he was not supposed to practice to try to defend himself.
Skip, that was probably the final straw. But they give you so many opportunities. All they want you to do is play and be you. That was the final, that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yep.
But there were so many things in between him punching the safety and him posting the video that you like, damn, I'm surprised, Ravens, y'all let it get that far.
Okay, I got it. Production tolerance, production tolerance. That's what you always say. Well, there's a whole lot of production, man.
It was, but they're never gonna let tolerance be better than production.
Okay, and for a while, he was going to be a financial burden to whatever team because he wanted to get paid.
Right.
And he did get paid.
He got paid. Ravens paid him top money.
They paid him top dollar. Now he cannot be paid because he has no more leverage. So he could do veteran minimum, I don't know what it is, a couple of $1 million bucks.
Yeah.
You could have him. And I don't know why they're looking at, it's what Bill Parcells called JAGs, just another guy. These are everybody I just listed here. They're just JAGs, including the new long snapper, Jake McQuaid, JAG.
I mean, but Skip, you know you need guys like that to fill out a roster.
You do.
But they're not, man, we're Keanu Neal away. We're Malik Hooker away.
Yep.
That's not what that's not what those guys are. Maybe coming out of college, you might have thought that's what they were. But coming off of that, like you said, that Achilles injury, and Keanu Neal, and I understand, Skip, they signed him because he knows the defense.
Yeah.
Maybe he can help the guys, like, okay, this is what Coach Quinn's looking for. This is what we need. This is how we're going to play it.
Yep.
But they're going to be looking at him like, well, if it was that easy, why didn't y'all play better in the pass defense than what you played in Atlanta?
Yep. So on offense, Jerry Jones is box office. On defense, he is bargain basement, right?
Bargain bin,
Yeah, that's what he is, bargain bin.
Yeah.
Well, what are we doing? Did we get better on defense? Not really.
You know what that means, right, Skip? That means third in the division. We're going to talk about that, too.
Oh, really?
We're going to talk about that.
We're
going to talk about that.
Wait, when they signed Dak, you said, I got to make him the favorite.
Hold on. But they done made some improvement. You see Galladay went to the Giants?
I saw that.
Fitz magic?
I did.
And we'll
Curtis
talk about
Samuel.
it.
I got it.
Yeah, okay. I thought you'd be a little happier about that, Skip.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.